So welcome everyone. I mentioned in the email invite that I had something I wanted to share today that I felt would be helpful for people that want to get better results, specifically when it comes to getting an increase in sales volume in their business. I think that's kind of an obvious question. If you're a business builder, who doesn't want to get more sales volume in their business? Who doesn't want to see their organization grow? We know, of course, as I say very regularly, every commission earned in our business is the result of a product sold. So that means if we can be more efficient in moving more product to customers, if we can be more proficient in building our teams and engaging our teams so that they are more engaged and effective, then we can see them thrive and do better. We can see our business partners thrive and do better, and our organization as a whole. And as a result, get to hopefully achieve the goals and the dreams and the aspirations that we set out to in the first place. That's why we often join a company like Nikken, because we want specific goals and ideals to be realized. So to that end, I want to jump in fairly quickly into some critical points that I think will help. I've got some slides that I've put together to help with this. So I would encourage you to take notes as well. If you're not taking notes and you just want to listen and watch first, then of course this is being recorded. You can watch it again afterwards and take notes as well. But this call is founded on a critical principle, which is if you don't measure it, you don't manage it. It's really important that if we want to grow our business, we know specifically what we need to measure in order to know where we focus our time in order to manage it and improve it. Too often, I see the problem being in many people's business efforts that they use a strategy, which we've all heard: if I throw enough mud at the wall, some of it will stick. That is not an effective strategy. It tires people out. Yes, you'll get some stuff sticking, but what stuff was it that stuck? Was it the right stuff? Was it stuff that you can suddenly teach your teammates? Is this a technique that's going to be helpful for others for duplication? Well, no, it's not. So that strategy of throw enough mud at the wall and hopefully some of it will stick is not a way to build a business that is based on duplication. We need to systemize and understand what the core activities are in order to duplicate that and to teach that effectively, and critically, to be accountable to them. Well, again, there is a saying: if performance is measured, performance improves. If performance is measured and reported, the rate of improvement accelerates. So if you want accelerated improvement in your business, there needs to be a couple of things that happen. We need to measure and monitor the right activity, and then we need to report back to a mentor or a coach, someone such as our upline or our sponsor, a teammate that we're working with, in order to make sure that we're accountable to our goals and our activity. And today I'm focusing specifically on activity, because we also do a lot of talking of both, don't we? We talk about aspirations and dreams. We talk about how emotion leads us to action. The word emotion comes from the Latin word motare, which means to move. So the purpose of our emotions is to lead us to action. So whatever action we have in our business will fundamentally be driven by some governing emotion that is behind it. So we do get into psychology a bit in our business, but at the end of the day, it comes down to some core fundamental activities that we can be responsible for that will help us to move forward and be productive and better at what we do. So in the business world, which is, of course, that's my history, that's my career background. I came from a corporate environment. In a corporate environment, when you're running organizations, large or small, if you're smart, you're using what we call KPIs. A KPI stands for Key Performance Indicators. Now, this means that of all of the different things that we need to measure and monitor, and in this world of technology right now, you can measure anything that's online, almost to a point of it's scary, isn't it? How many of us have typed into a search engine, black shoes, only to find that a website you're visiting the next day has suddenly got a little ad that pops up advertising black shoes. They measure everything. They track it all. But that stuff happens. They know what to measure. They know what is appropriate to focus on. And as a result, those businesses thrive and grow in many instances more than any other industry in the world right now, because they know what their right KPIs are. So what are the right KPIs, the right key performance indicators for us in our business here in Nikken? Let me do my screen share and we'll take a look. Okay, so here we go. Can you see that slide all right, where it says key performance indicators? Bo, you're giving a nod there. Great, I can see you here. Okay, so I've put down here, we should always track at least 5, but I wouldn't suggest having more than 12. And the simple reason for this is, if we're measuring too much, we can get bogged down in too much data, and we can get distracted by over-evaluation versus simply focusing on critical areas where we've identified what our real priorities are. I mentioned in a training a number of, gosh, I don't know how long ago, again, this concept of priorities. The word priorities being plural is actually totally incorrect as an English word. There is no such thing if you look at the original meaning. The word priority means the first or prior thing. So if we have multiple priorities, when that became a plural, I think we suddenly got confused. You can't have multiple first things. We don't count to 10 going 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But what we can do here with our KPIs is at least identify some fundamental, critical, and important activities that we need to keep our eye on, but not too many, otherwise we get overwhelmed. I'm going to give you some examples of things here that I would recommend we can spend our time focusing on as a business builder. And as a result of that, if we measure it and look to improve it, evaluate our performance in this area, then we can look at ways of getting better. This is really important, because what this does is it gives us a chance to feel in control of our business. So often when we're working with teams, especially in multiple generations or levels in depth, what someone else does might be out of our control. But this gives us a chance to take control of what we do and be personally accountable and responsible. So let's look at the first one, sales opportunities. How many opportunities did I have in this past week? And how many did I seize? Now, this is something that is what I would suggest you set down initially as a goal. I could sit in my living room, for example, and say, well, I didn't really get many last week. But if I didn't plan to have many, if I didn't prepare and get out of my living room and say, I'm going to have at least 10 new opportunities in the coming week, then I've got to go out and look for them. I set that as a goal, and then I can look back and reflect and say, of those 10 that I planned, how many did I actually create? How many did I seize? And what have you? Measure that. Look for new opportunities and measure them. If you seek, as the saying goes, you will find. But if we're not looking, we're not going to find. I love the second one. This one is very, very important. And I don't think we do enough of it, especially in the concept of being accountable to this activity. How many, and it'll be interesting if you are making notes, if you could have a rough estimate in your head that you could write down right now. It might startle you or it might encourage you. How many outbound calls did you make to prospective customers or business partners last week or last month? And again, we need to break this down. What types of calls were they? Was it a call where it's someone on my contact list and I'm inviting them to hear a presentation? Have they seen a presentation and I'm doing a follow-up call? Was it an ABC that I was having as a result of a contact that I've made? So I would encourage you to create a simple spreadsheet, which you can do in Excel, or if you're not comfortable with the computer, you don't need to be clever. Get a simple little book like this, get a pen handy, and draw some lines in it and just write down my goal and my actual, my goal and my actual. Outbound calls at the top of the page, my goal with invites, with follow-up calls, with ABCs, you name the type of call. Write down how many you plan to do, and then measure how many you did. You'll notice that we're focusing here on what we do versus simply what we plan to do. It's wonderful, isn't it? I don't know about you, but I've had countless now conversations and calls with members of my team that want to talk about goal setting and planning, about what they want to achieve this coming year. And they might say, my goal is to become Royal Diamond by December 31st. December 31st is often a big day for a lot of people in our business. But when you break it down to what they're willing to do, what they need to do today, many people don't know. And this is the stuff that will, if we focus on it and measure it today, this week, this month, will get us to those types of goals by December 31st. This one, again, I love. All of these I think are valuable. How many minutes have you spent this week in sales or business-related conversations? This is really good. I'm going to stop my screen share for just a second. This is good. When you work for yourself, there is so much activity that we do that does not generate income. A follow-up call might result in a sale, maybe creating a flyer, maybe building my contact list. It all builds the business. It all contributes, but not everything is sales-generating, income-generating activity. Writing out a customer receipt requires a bit of time, isn't necessarily an income-generating activity. Sitting down and doing a one-on-one call with a member of your team that's just joined might not make you feel like you're generating income in that moment. But all of this stuff builds to creating your business income and security, and we all need to measure and track this over time. So let's go back to the KPIs here. The last one here, again, I like this one, marketing activity versus lead generation. I've given a specific example here because it's a good one. Many of us will jump onto Facebook and we'll connect with our teammates, and we will like and comment and respond to each other's messages on Facebook and think that we're building our business. But are you? If you were to tally the number of hours you spent in a week on Facebook or maybe some other social media platform, and then tally the number of customers or business partners that you have created in that week or month as a result of those hours spent, is it time well spent? Now, I'm not suggesting that means you jump off Facebook if you only got one customer sale, but you spent 7 hours, for example, or 10 hours in getting that one customer. I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is, if you've got this much time and this much result, look at how you're spending the time and look at ways to improve it. This is what measuring our key performance indicators is all about. Am I getting the results that I need? Is this creating the response for my business that is required? If I'm marketing on social media, am I getting my net result? If not, do I need to change my strategy? Do I need to look for a new technique? Or do I need to just recognize that this is a season and it will bear fruit in time? Because that also bears true. Results do take time to measure also. Some other examples, just using this conversion principle. Of the leads that I generated, how many converted to an appointment? This is an important one to measure. Of the leads that I generated, how many converted to an appointment? How many new customers have I created this week? How many new customers have I created this month? How many new consultants have I signed up this month or this week? Again, we need to measure this, and we need to set goals, goal and actual, and have them both side by side on our documents that we can measure and track and report. How am I doing for my goal, and what is my result? How many presentations did I make? And of the appointments, going back to that first one, of the appointments that I had this week or this month, how many of them resulted in a sale or in someone signing up into the business and becoming a business partner? How much of it resulted in someone buying one of our wellness packs? What is the net result of the appointment that I made? Please keep in mind, every appointment should have a call to action of some kind. People won't invite themselves too often. So it is important that when we've got that great energy and that great environment that we're in that appointment setting, that we extend an invitation to take action with our business partner, prospective business partner, or customer. A couple more here, and then we'll move on to one more tool. What is the total volume that I've generated? Again, we should know what that is on a monthly basis, especially if I've got goals where I'm working towards, for example, rank advancements. If I'm a silver and I want to become a gold, what is my current volume? What is the volume that is required? What volume do I create on a month-to-month basis so that I can see what I'm doing in order to get to where I need to be? And that leads to the next one. That might be my monthly regular volume, but we also need to track what is new volume. And you can do that in your personal group better than anywhere, perhaps, based on the new people that you sign up and the volume that they're creating, the customers that they're acquiring, and so on. You can see from that structure, that group, and of course, if you're tracking key people in your business in the back office, in my Nikken, you can see and measure their performance too, so you can all work together to stay on top of the goals that you've got for rank advancements. But it's important, this one here is particularly important. We don't want to just measure existing volume. What volume did I get in February? What volume did I get in January? What you want to look at is, what is my new volume? If I'm regularly getting, as an average figure, let's say 10,000 OV on a monthly basis, or 1,050 or 1,500 PGV on a regular basis, I want to know how much of that is going to be from new customers and new business partners, because it's the new volume that's going to help you to get from rank to rank to rank. If we don't have new volume coming into our business, then you're going to be experiencing what is called attrition. Attrition means you've got, most businesses in some way, shape, or form have a hole in their bucket. Not every customer joins and stays until they die. They will get tired. They will find loyalty somewhere else. They will get distracted. They will have life get involved. They'll make other decisions, other choices, and off they go. It's impossible. I've not seen any company anywhere attract, engage, and retain 100% of their customers until their life expires. It doesn't work that way. So we're going to have some attrition. We need to expect that. So we also need to look at replacing that with new volume. I've talked about results versus goals already. What were my outcomes compared to my goals and my commitments? I think that's important. And again, definitely something to be sharing with a mentor or a coach. Teamwork. This is a critical one, because fundamental to this business is our ability to work as a team. How many webinars am I attending? How many meetings am I hosting? How many trainings did I attend in the course of this month? What am I doing to educate, inspire, encourage my group, my new people, or myself? This is critical. Okay, so I want to look now at what are some of the tools of the trade. These are our key performance indicators, but we want to make sure, I just bumped it off, apologies. Here we go. I thought I'd removed all of my animations here. I didn't. I missed a slide. So in order to do this well, I'm going to suggest some things that can help us to be well prepared. And I think if we can have some of this preparation in advance, as well as some of that forward planning, as well as some of that evaluation of KPIs, I think we're going to be in a strong position here to run a good business. So what are some tools that we should have with us on a consistent basis? First of all, my smartphone. I should have this phone with me everywhere I go. I have it with me everywhere I go, primarily because I have my contact list on it. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. I also have my calendar on it. I also, which is my diary. I also have a lot of my client notes, not all of them, but I certainly have immediate ones here. And I also make my notes here if I'm going into meetings. So a smartphone can tick a lot of boxes, can't it, for us today, which is kind of nice. A lot of it is our whole business in our pocket. But you want to be able to have your phone ready. You want to have your diary out so that you can schedule appointments. You don't know when you're going about your day what opportunities will present themselves if you are already in that mindset of looking. And of course, if you're sitting down talking with someone, if you're planning, if you're in a presentation, you want to have your diary out because you should be at the end of one meeting planning the next one. So you've got the chance of follow-up. If you're in a conversation with someone and you're inviting them to watch a video, inviting them to join a webinar, you want to plan at that moment a follow-up. I wanted to hear how it goes. I'd love to get your opinion and your feedback on what you think of the video. When would be a great time to speak again? Would it be better tomorrow, in the morning, or in the evening? Which time is best for you? So we plan to follow up. So we need our diaries in front of us. And again, notepads and pens. Make notes when you're in meetings with people. Notes of questions you might want to ask, concerns that they may raise, ideas that may come, or questions that they may ask so that you can get all your answers prepared for them. And again, of course, have accurate client records. This is important, and I'm going to stress this one for just a moment, because when we talk about the quality enrollment, that's a phrase that we use in Nikken, which means a distributor that retails, at least, or wholesales or retails, consumes shares, however, 500 points of personal volume each month, as a minimum, at least 500 points in personal volume each month. One of the reasons behind that was this. If I did 500 points of retail sales in a month, ideally from auto ship customers, then I could focus much more on my recruiting activities, knowing that my auto ship customers, I've got maybe 10 customers, half of which may place an order on a regular basis. If that's going on in the background, then I can expand my business through recruitment, grow out from that, and then, of course, see my business grow by teaching the same principle. And you would be 4 to 5 times more lucrative than the average distributor in network marketing. The challenge is most people that focused on the 500 points a month did it with new people every month. It was new volume. It was my customers placing an order and stopping. They're not getting them onto auto ship. They're not following up with accurate records that will encourage them to say, looks like your filter needs replacing. Looks like you tried this one. You might, this product, you might want to try this supplemental product that will go along with it. You got the waterfall. Do you want to try the water bottle? You've got the mattress. Do you want to try the pillow and the blanket now? We're not expanding and doing that follow-up in a way to get the repeat business from our customers so that we can move on to the more lucrative activity, which is building an organization. So accurate client records will encourage us to do the meaningful follow-up that will generate the right activity over the long term. Again, something to always have handy when you're going out and about. Always have your forms with you. So have some forms in your car. If you're traveling, have a little envelope that you keep in the back of your car somewhere in a safe place where they're not going to get scrunched up or sat on or something like that. But have some order forms, some distributor agreements, because you never know what's going to happen. And if you're prepared and you're looking, you can seize the moment, and that can be a great opportunity for you right there. But always have something handy. You're going into a meeting, for example, nothing worse than going into a business meeting. Someone decides to sign up afterwards and we don't have the documentation with us. That just makes us look unprofessional, and their emotion might simmer and they might change their minds. Data collection tool. Again, this for me is kind of my smartphone, but be prepared to receive contact details from others. We're often willing to hand out our business card a lot. When we hand out our business card, it puts them in charge of responding to us and reaching out to us. If we receive their information, it puts us in charge of reaching out to them. And you want to be in charge of that so that you can be proactive. Have some product samples on hand. Have them in your home. Maybe if there are some that you can have in the back of your car, again, good to have some with you or have some on you. For example, I've got my necklace here that I've got here to the side, or some other Nikken products nearby as well. Always have something handy, ready to go, that you can share demonstrate, and show people so that you can have a positive, prepared, professional experience straight away. And always have your contact list with you. I've had it told to me, that if you don't have your contact list on you, then you are basically telling people, my shop is shut, my business is closed. If I don't have my list on me, then I'm not in a position where I can build my business. And what I love, especially in this day and age where we are so busy, I often find it so helpful to steal a few minutes here and there. Perhaps it might be when I'm doing the school run and I've got to get, I don't know what it's like for you guys in the States, but here in the UK, there isn't a lot of car parking around the schools. And so you have to get there a few minutes early in order to secure yourself a good car park. These mums can be incredibly aggressive and assertive when it comes to getting their spot closest to the school. So you want to get in there soon enough, which means you might have a few minutes sat in the car. Grab your phone out. If you've got your contact list with you, make a couple of phone calls while you're waiting. And it's remarkable if you do that every day, Monday to Friday, and you're there just for 10 minutes. You could make, in 10 minutes, 2 or 3 calls to people on your list on a daily basis in just some stolen time in that 10 minutes. And it's remarkable what those few minutes here and there can do. So please always have your contact list with you with that plan and intent to use it in those spare moments. Someone once joked there should be 2 exceptions to when you don't have your list with you: when you're taking a shower and when you're going for a swim. Aside from that, you have it on you all the time, because there is always a chance to do business and to connect with someone. And like I said, often, for me at least, it can be in those few spare minutes here and there where we can be, surprisingly, the most effective. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that these key performance indicators and some of these tools of the trade, which are ever so simple, and some of them fairly rudimentary, fairly basic, have been helpful to you today. I want to give you a promise. I promise you, if you prepare yourself by using these basic tools, a simple notebook and a pen, your smartphone for calendaring, your contact list, setting appointments, making notes and what have you, if you use some basic tools like that, coupled with some product demonstrations, and have some sheets that you create where you can measure the key performance indicators of your business, the key things that will help you to get from where you are now to where you want to be in your paycheck, in your rank advancement, in the security of your residual future income. If you get these things prepared now and you utilize them on a day-to-day basis, share them with a sponsor or a mentor so that you can be held accountable to them in a positive, encouraging, and celebratory way, because that's what accountability really should be, and it's an encouraging activity. It's a motivational experience. Then I promise you, you will get much better results then than you are getting now. Of that, I give you my solid conviction and promise. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope this has helped. Watch it, share it, pass it to your teams, use it as a team resource so that you can all get on the same page, do this stuff together. Can you imagine what would happen if everyone in your team utilized the same key performance indicators and went about their day with the same level of preparation using these types of tools that I've talked about today? Nothing expensive, nothing extravagant, fundamental activities, everyone on the same page. You would move mountains. You would move mountains in your business. So share it, use it as a team. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone.